Hey, good morning, Misfits. It is Saturday, June 27th, episode 491. That creeps up on you. I hope everybody's doing well. Conversation today is a little bit more about your secret sauce. But as we get started, I hope everybody's doing well. Go ahead and send out your messages of joy, of gratitude, of appreciation, of love. Send out your 3 messages in the chat when you're done. Drop a D when you're done. Great to have you here. Exciting stuff happening. I'm going to go over some questions here on questions you might want to be asking yourself, how to find your secret sauce, what to look for, and how we go from there. So, but as we get started, one of the things I want to do is have our resident direct connect to the higher source. Give us a little blessing this morning if her signal's in place. There she is.
Yeah.
Good morning, RBP.
Good morning. Okay, let's open up in prayer.
Yeah.
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Thank you for the smiles that we have on our faces. Thank you for the smiles you'll help us get onto our faces. And thank you for the smiles we'll put on others' faces as we share your light and your energy. Revive us, renew us, Lord. Every day you say, come get a new, refreshing feeling. And we do. And we come to you right now with hands wide open, hearts wide open, eyes and ears wide open to you. Deafen out any other negativity that could be creeping around. Mute those voices and let only your light and your love and your energy speak into us as you open our hearts and fill us. Help us to take this learning and light and love and joy down into the depths of every bit of our being and let it come out in everything we have to say through the rest of the day to every loved one, to every friend, to every confused follower, to every person we come across, and let us vibrate at your level with your intentions and your desires placed in our hearts so we're on your good and perfect path. Guard us and protect us. Thank you for Sean. Protect his thoughts and his words. Let him guide us and lead us to become more of who you designed us to be and step into our secret sauce that you gave us at birth. And we just thank you for this. Let it glorify and honor you. And we say all this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate that, Rhonda. Thank you so much. So as we get started this morning, a couple of things to be aware of is that you're changing the world. Yep, you're changing the world. And the other part to that is that the world is changing you. And what's it changing you to be? What's it changing you to become? See, right now, the things that you read yesterday, the things that you saw yesterday, the things that you got mad about or got happy about, the things that you got emotional about, or the things that you didn't even hear, the things that people heard around you that changed their day, that pour into you, is part of your secret sauce. So now the question becomes, what do you do with it? So I'm going to read some questions I had in meditation this morning. And just to give you an idea, I don't know if anybody saw Les Brown's live yesterday, but Les Brown is starting a Prodigy program. And in that Prodigy program, I'm not sure what else is going out. I know I just signed up for it. It's $19, $20 a month. But it's an email. And here's the thing that really got me. Les was, it was I don't want to say a spur of the moment, but it was something that was done actionary. I don't want to say reactionary, but I think that there was a lot of reactionary to it. And what I mean by that is that everybody is having to learn how to pivot. If you believe the world is having to learn how to pivot, drop a P in the chat. And if you do 2 P's, you're going PP. So you drop, and And the reason that I say reactionary is because when Les was giving the website, he wasn't quite sure what the website was. Now I know Les's health is up and down, and yet yesterday he was in a great mood. And I know that because he was kidding about his Corona afro, which is funny. Do you remember the afros that went straight up? There were some bands that where the afro like went straight up, and that was the afro he had on. He said, "This is my Corona afro." My point is that everybody's trying to figure out what to do next. And what they thought they could do next doesn't, high top fade, there you go. What they could do next is not what they thought they could do next. Follow me on this. What he's doing now is something that he was doing, but he's changing the rules on how he's doing it. Because the rules have changed on how he gets out into the world, right? Tony Robbins is doing his 7-day event and the comeback challenge. And he actually has created an app to where you can push the app and it sends sound back into the studio where Tony's at so that he can hear some people. They can hear the raise your hand and say, "I," right? That's something new. What does that even, why does that even exist? Because speakers are needing to have connection. I interviewed Les. I was in a mastermind where Les spoke to 60 of us. We need connection. See, part of the secret sauce that you're going to be delivering to the world is connection. That's what they want. That's what they need. That's the thing that's going to change everything, is connection. We are such a connected society through social media that there's so much disconnection. It's not even funny. We can't even hear each other sometimes. So part of this reason that Les was reaching out, that Tony's reaching out, and 250,000 people signed up for the comeback challenge. He said 2,500 or 5,000 signed up for the VIP. I don't know what those numbers are. I know that 800, 900 are on the Zoom link. That's the VIP link. And now we're having to motivate. So Tom Ziegler, the other night on a mastermind I was in, Tom Ziegler said, we need to learn how to motivate remote individuals. And the way we learn how to motivate remote individuals is going to be the new secret sauce. Follow me on this. So you being able to present, to motivate, to inspire, to invigorate, to get people to do things in this format right now, where we're at right now, to get people to listen, to plug in, to have a conversation, to be able to motivate, to be able to talk directly to a plastic piece of camera, and to get people to lean in, to get people to have a conversation, to make sure your voice is clear. See, if you're going to speak and present through a format called technology, whether that be just audio, whether that be video and audio, whether that be a Facebook Live, an Instagram Live, if you're going to be presenting to a two-dimensional audience to look to get a three-dimensional response, you're going to have to be over the top engaging. And what I mean by that is you're going to have to give them a reason to not keep scrolling. So how do you do that? You deliver content that's worth sitting down and getting some popcorn for. How many of you, by show of hands, how many of you saw my, my Facebook Live yesterday? Didn't see it live. Okay, I see some hands going up. If you haven't seen it, you might want to go take a peek at it. And when I say take a peek at it, you may want to look carefully. Yeah. It's me in a bra with big bags of water stuck in the bra. What? It was a conversation. So the reason that we did, it's part of the 14-day challenge and leaking water. Yes. The reason that I did it was because we were supposed to do something, have a conversation about something we're not an authority on. And I was talking about how do you gauge, if you're going for implants, how do you gauge what breast size, what implant size would be the best one for you? So I Googled it. I Googled breast implants and I looked it up. Anyway, so I did this video. My point is, why did that one get so many views? Because that's not what Sean does. In this world right now of a whole bunch of information, it might make sense for you to figure out some ways for you to stand out in the crowd. And that's going to be part of your secret sauce. What is the thing that you can do that allows you to have more of what you want and less of what you don't? So here's some questions to have conversations. Let's see here. How do I do this? So here's a question for you. Where am I starting? You can't wait to talk to your community. Your community is waiting on you. They're a marching band, right? There's 34 people on this call right now. It's been as high as 200. It's been as low as 1. But the people that are here is because there's something that's unique about what you're hearing here. There's a resonance. There's a resonance that you say, this is worthy of my time, meaning your time. Can you give your audience more than they expected? You can't wait to talk to your audience. You've got to figure out a way to communicate with them, and we'll talk about that. What is your message? Right? What is your message? You can go look at me in a bra, which it's my bride's bra, which is a pretty big bra when you get to look at it. When you, I just saw Rhonda go, stop. What is your message? See, even in that message, even in that kind of comical, humorous way, there was a message behind that, right? It was wrapped up in a different package. What's your message? Here's the question. Who needs to hear your message? There's an audience that needs your experience. There's an audience that needs your joy. There's an audience that needs only you can speak to them. And your time is right now. Your experience that you have in this moment right now is the exact moment that your audience needs to hear from you. Not tomorrow, not the next day, not 2 years from now. They need to hear from you now with the experience and the understanding and the bumps, the warts, the bruises, the cuts, the scars. They need to hear from you now because there's an audience exactly like you that they feel they don't have a voice, and only you can give it to them. Here's a tough one. Y'all ready for this? The reason more people can't hear you is because you're talking to a crowd that doesn't want to listen to you. Ouch. How do you wind up finding an audience that wants to listen to you? You need to do it more often. The challenge is most people get out there and they give a message and they don't get the likes. They don't get the likes and they don't get the this, and they're like, nobody likes me. It's not that they don't like you, it's they just don't have a reason to listen to you. They're not of the same psychographic. Some of you are highly spiritual beings. Some of you are highly emotionally charged individuals. Some of you are highly intellectual beings of conversation, and you're trying to lower your eloquence to speak to an audience. You need to raise the bar. And when you raise the bar, there's going to be some people who can't jump over it. See, we're not looking to how do we lower the bar so everybody can get under it. We're not trying to raise the bar so everybody can get under it. We're trying to raise the bar to find out who wants to jump over it. It's imperative that we raise the level of dialogue. It's easy to get down in the mud. But I think I heard, I don't know who said it. I don't want to give the credit to the wrong person, but here's what I know. If you argue with an idiot, they'll bring you down to their level and beat you with their experience. Why do that? The reason more people aren't listening to you is because they don't want to listen to you. There is a rich in the niche. There's 7 billion people on the planet. I'm blessed and lucky enough to be speaking to 38 of them. Really? Is that enough? I think it's enough, because how many people does it take to change the world? 1. And you're probably on this call. The one that's changing the world right now is on this call. I know every one of you are changing the world you operate in. Every one of you is enhancing the world that you sit in. Do you know how to find your psychographic? Do you know how to find the people who will raise their hand and say, I want more of that? How many different people eat ice cream? How many different people eat strawberry ice cream? How many different people eat strawberry ice cream with chocolate ice cream? See, as we start to specify what it is we're looking for, we get down to a narrowing of the niche. It takes a lot less conversation to create a community when you speak to your team. When you speak to those people that are looking for your influence. There's a difference between looking for influence and being influenced. There's a tribe of people right now who need you, who are looking for you. Can you speak to them in a way that they can hear you? Do you know how to engage them and create a conversation? There's somebody type in the chat a hobby that you do. Type in a chat a hobby that you do. So y'all look at some of the things that are on here. Dogs, reading, singing. Has anybody seen, other than the one that they saw, has anybody seen a hobby in there that they would like, that they didn't know that the other person had? Did you just find it? Let me put it this way. I'm trying to figure out the words. Did you just see a reason to connect with somebody on this call that you didn't know existed before? If you're reading through this, scroll back up and down the list there. Scroll back up and down the list. If you found a reason to connect with somebody that you didn't know you could connect with them before, type a yes in the chat. If you found a way to connect with somebody that you didn't know you could connect with them before, type a yes in the chat. Y'all see what just happened? How long have we been on these calls together? How long have we been communicating with each other? And all of a sudden, yeah, Gigi loves singing. See, I think she mentioned that in her video, her intro video inside of Secret Sauce. Here's the thing. You see what just happened? We just learned how to connect with people. If you have all at all been communicating, not just presenting. If you have at all been communicating, this stuff would have come out. Now, this is a closed group, right? This is us talking. This is family talking here. Follow me on this. This is family talking here. These are the leaders that I'm talking to here. These are the people that are changing the world. I'm speaking to you. So don't take this and don't go, ugh, this is elevated dialogue. This is to open your eyes to what's right in front of us. If we just learn something about each other, congratulations. If we just learned something about each other, that's awesome. See, we opened up the dialogue to have a conversation about things that are not business, but we're building each other. So this is why I always say I build people, not business. I would encourage you to scroll back through, and whoever you saw does something you like, connect with them, talk about it. Because this is a true mastermind, right? What does it say in Think and Grow Rich? When two minds get together, a third is always created. Therein lies the mastermind. What if you did a conversation about that? How many more people in the world do you think do that? The reason that I see it, this is my perception. This is a farm boy from Ohio with a 0.9 grade point average. The reason I see what we're doing is so critical right now is that even though we're more connected and people have more followers and people have 30,000 followers and 15,000 followers and ridiculous numbers, we still feel so alone. The reason I think the next phase of social media, and you see this more and more, it's why Instagram now allows you to do interviews. It's why platforms like this that allow communities to come together. We need to see each other. But here's the thing that's more important. People need to see people getting along. They need to see that it's okay for the thing that they like to hang out with other people like that. Is that making sense? So if you start to do a conversation, imagine if part of your conversation was Kayla doing cooking. Who does cooking? So there's other people that enjoy cooking. Are there people that like eating? So imagine this. Imagine a global live that's cooking. You got Panama and you got Leo in New York. And imagine if you've got Panamanian spices and you got Puerto Rican spices, and all of a sudden, what do you think you could cook up? I believe there needs to be a cross-pollination of societies. And the society is everybody who follows you. The society is everybody who follows me. I dropped something in, I forget where I dropped it, probably in Secret Sauce. My buddy Scott Schilling and my other buddy, Adrian Chenault, talking about Scott's book and contact mapping. And I'm going to have Adrian come on here, talk about contact mapping. There is no more isolation. There is no more them versus me. You know who's going to win in the next decade? This decade that's here right now, that's going to absolutely create multi-millionaires. This decade we're in right now, there's going to be people who have never thought about 6- and 7-figure incomes. It's going to flow into their life. It has to. Money is just energy. The money hasn't gone away. There's more money out there than has ever been because of stimulus packages and everything else. The question is how do you put yourself in the way of it? You put yourself in the way of it by being the dam that causes people to pause. And then just like a dam that's designed for energy, that's a hydroelectric dam. How does a hydroelectric dam work? It stops the water, lets it build up, and then lets it flow out with control. And it turns the flow into energy. do you understand how to turn the flow into income for you, whether it be psychic income or monetary income? See, I do these calls for the psychic income. Now it's converting into monetary income. But for 480 episodes, it was psychic. There was a part of me that just needed to give back to the world. There was such a way that there was such a void in me of not being able to serve. So I changed that. December 18th, 2018. Here you go. You ready for this one? Who's ready for this one? Can your audience brag on you? Can your audience brag on you? What gives them a reason to brag on you? See, I believe some of the things that has allowed Heather Love to catapult herself in the last almost year now is because people get to brag on her. Now, it was something that maybe she didn't want people to brag on her about. But if I were to ask you, what's the biggest thing, what's the biggest reason you remember Heather Love? Type it in the chat. She's like, oh, why are you doing this, Sean? What's the biggest thing you remember about Heather? Oh, come on, the biggest thing. No, I like what you're saying. Yeah, locked up abroad. That's the biggest reason. That's the shocker. See, we want to be able to have a shocker about somebody. Rhonda's got one kidney. What? Yeah, there's a couple other things you don't know about. Sharon has been married to African Americans anytime she got married. You follow me? Twice. So this is the thing. When you find that story about you, when people see me and they go, where'd you go? So where'd you graduate college? My shocker is I barely made it through high school. I had a 0.9 grade point average. Am I able to hold my own in an intellectual conversation? Yeah, if it's about humanity and if it's about the mind. I seem like I have a whole bunch of degrees. I got a lot of certifications. But you and I both know certifications, anybody can buy a certification. You just go through the timing and you go through the test. It's can you apply the certification? So what is the shocker about you? Leo wants the fatherless children. That's his shocker. See, that's your secret sauce. And most people aren't willing to look at it. Listen, Diane, everybody's got a shocker. I promise you. That's the deception that is put on us. We don't have a secret sauce. We don't have a shocker. Is really a 0.9 grade point average a shocker? Is it really a shocker? No. It's only a shocker in comparison. I come off as highly intellectual. I come off as highly educated for the most part, unless you consider spelling. Easy there, RBP. I see you out of the corner of my eye. Yeah, not so much. Yeah, that's because you get to know me. Everybody has a shocker. Well, what did we just learn about Alex? See, these are the stories we get to brag on people. That's what we want to do, is we want to give people a chance to brag on us. But we think, no, they don't need to know that. We don't need to know that. They need to know that. People want to be able to say, I know them. I want to be able to say all the time, I know Kyle Wilson. Here's the shocker. You want to know what the shocker is when I say I know Kyle Wilson? You go, who's Kyle Wilson? Did you ever hear of Jim Rohn? Yeah. That's the reason you know of Jim Rohn. What? Yeah. He's the guy that put Jim Rohn on the map. Jim Rohn's message. He didn't give him his message. He was the marketing genius. behind Jim Rohn. Kyle Wilson had a 1 million person email list before social media. Anybody have a little Jim Rohn quote book? Kyle Wilson made that. He sold 6 million of those. We know him as the Jim Rohn quote book. Jim didn't want to do any of that stuff. Kyle did. So part of your secret sauce is finding that thing to give people a chance to brag. Why did I do the video yesterday? Why did I find such, listen, the video last time I did the 14-day challenge about what do I not know about? Anybody eating breakfast? Should I tell you? RBP saying don't tell you. Let me know in the chat if you want me to tell you. Okay. It's why females should trim their nether region hair to 1/4 of an inch before they go for a waxing. The 13 reasons why you should do that. So there you go.
I told y'all. I warned y'all. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
So why would I do that? Because it's outrageous. It's so not me. It's so not me. The reason that I do things like that is because you need to have that shift. It gives people a reason to go, oh my God, I can't look away. Train wreck. Because, and I can get away, here's the thing. I can get away with it because the level of integrity I have in everything else that I do. They know it's going to be a train wreck. They know it's going to be hysterical. You can literally see me sweating when I did that last one. This one I wasn't sweating because I had it in two baggies, and they were still leaking. So I was getting cooled off by my bazoobies. Anyways, so find a reason to give your audience to brag on you. That's what we're going to do in the secret sauce. And that's what we're going to do in the secret sauce community. So part of the secret sauce community is bring everybody you can to that, to the group page. I want to give people a reason to go build their secret sauce. What we're going to be doing in the paid community, the folks of you that have upgraded, if you will, that we're going to be diving into individually. You, the person, you, the individual, asking questions. And then 10 of you don't know it, but you've probably got the email. Some of you haven't opened the email. You're on the VIP list. You were the first 10. There's going to be some really special things that are going to be happening for you guys as well. Here's a question. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So in the last 24 hours, what did you do for your crew? What did you do for your crew already? How many of you have eaten in the last 24 hours? If you've eaten in the last 24 hours, what did you give your audience a chance to eat? What of you did they have a chance to consume? I promise you, they need to hear from you. You may not hear it. How many of you know this? How many of you know this? You'll be putting out posts and you'll be doing stuff. You'll be putting out your videos. And then all of a sudden, somebody like out of the blue reaches out to you. And they reach out to you and they go, man, I've been watching your stuff. I'm ready to get going. And you're like, when did that happen? Well, when did you see I've been watching you. And you're like in your head, why haven't you clicked like? Why haven't you made a comment? Here's a number that was given to me. I don't know if it's true or not, but for every eyeball, for every like you get, or for every comment you get, there's 10 that are watching you that are not saying anything. Can you give them a reason to raise their hand? There's people that are watching Sharon's posts and Sharon's videos, and they're going, you look a whole lot less stressed. And part of the challenge is when people start to speak to you, you're going like, how bad of a basket case was I before? They need to see you as listen, even Moses was a basket case. I had to throw that one in. Here you go. You ready for this? Do you know who your advocates are? Do you know who the people are that stand up for you? Do you know who the people who are speaking for you? Do you know who the people who are saying, that's my guy, that's my gal? And then here's the tough question. What are you doing to thank your advocates? What are you doing to thank those insiders of the insiders? Can I let you all in on a little secret? Do y'all want to know a little secret? If you want to know a little secret, type the word secret. Do you know why listen, I'm not a charity. I like to live a good lifestyle. People compensate me very well for things that I do. You want to know who my advocates are? Every one of you that are here right now. Do you know why when you reach out to me, I do my best to respond immediately? You don't know if I'm in the middle of a meeting or in the middle of a call. You don't know if I end a call early to have a conversation with you. You don't need to know that. You just need to know that you're my family. Because you speak up for me. You take time to spend it with me. I go where my time is deserved, not where it's needed. You have no idea what's happening in my life, other than what's happening in my life with you. That's why I do this. You don't need to know that things are blowing up in different parts of Latin America. You don't need to know that things are challenging here at the house with whatever a plumbing issue or this leaked or that leaked or this went bad. Nobody needs to know that. Then there's the inside circle that sometimes they don't wish they were a part of because they get me venting. You vent? We all got to have a vent somewhere. Otherwise, we get Mount Vesuvius and the whole world goes to hit in a handbasket. When your advocates reach out to you, make sure they know you're there for them. You don't need a whole bunch, right? They say in social media, you just need 1,000 raving fans. Just 1,000. 1,000 raving fans, you can write your check at no matter what you want. 1,000 raving fans. And out of that 1,000 raving fans, you probably only need 100 who, if you said, pick me up at the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning, their answer is, what airport? And out of that, you need 10 people who will fight to carry your coffin out. Are you understanding secret sauce a little different right now? Your 10 will get 100. Your 100 will get 1,000. This is the reason you're going to change the world. This is how we do this for 600 generations. You know how long it's going to take to kind of right the world to a place that we all sit and love and joy? It's going to take a handful of generations. Somebody's going to have to stand up and say, this is enough. And that's each of you. And I talk with this with Sharon and with Rhonda all the time. I love that we've got kids on here. We've got kids on here. Now, we've got kids on here who are moms and dads. I applaud you because there's no way I could be a mom or a dad. I don't know that I could have been a mom or a dad. Well, I couldn't have been a mom. I couldn't have been a dad at the ages of 20s. I don't know that I was keen enough. Now, would I have adapted and adopted? Yes. So when I look at the courage that each of you have, when I look at the worlds that you live in, when I look at the stories that you share with us, Each of you. Listen, Dr. Wayne Dyer was an orphan. He was a teacher. Mother Teresa was not Mother Teresa before then. She was just Teresa. Gandhi was Gandhi before he was Gandhi. Y'all get this? Everybody started at zero. And they decided to stand up and make a difference. We talked about that. Here's the question. So I asked, who are your advocates? How do you get them to tell your story? What do they want in return? Recognition. It's what men and women die for and babies cry for. Recognition. What do your advocates want in return? And it's the simplest things. It's the simplest things. Don't be surprised. There's some people who my advocates, they want to do an interview with me. And I come into their organization and I do an interview with them. How hard is it for me to sit behind a screen with a computer and look at a camera? Do you think it's really difficult for me to talk? You think it's difficult for me to inspire, to ask questions, to recognize people? That's like, I don't know what's easier than falling out of bed, but that for me is easier. So when people ask me to do that, yes. They go, could you? Yes. You don't know what I asked you. Yes. If any one of you wanted me to come on and do a live on IG or speak to your community, yes. Why would you do that? Because I can and because you asked? Absolutely. Anytime. I sleep 5 hours a day. It doesn't matter which 5. I do stuff in Australia. I do stuff in Hong Kong. You name it, the continent. There's one, I haven't done anything, and I just forgot it. It's where Noni comes from. The Samoan Islands. I haven't done a conference. I've done conference calls in the islands of Mauritius. Who knows where the islands of Mauritius are? I did a conference call there with 600 people. A buddy of mine, Ravin Pavish. The island of Mauritius? So let's do it. Listen, this is about cooperation, not competition. Here you go. This one will, y'all keep your eyes on Rhonda. How much time do you preach? How much time do you practice? Are they the same? Snap. Is there anyone, watch this, is there anyone who sees you practice? Who sees you practice? If it's your audience that you're speaking to, if it's your advocates can't see you practice. They need to see you perform. They hold you at a higher level. Now, remember, that's the 1,000. The 1,000 can't see you practice. They hold you at the highest level. They can see you screw up. They don't need to see you practice. Your 100 need to know you practice. Your 10, those are who you practice with. You understand how you build your community? Your 10 are your board of directors. I have a board of directors. My board of directors are, just trying to think if anybody makes less than 7 figures. Nope. But that's not why they're on my board. They're on my board because they got scars bigger than mine. A 33-year sober alcoholic, somebody who went to prison, somebody who was the youngest manager at DoubleTree. Actually, anybody ever go to DoubleTree and have a warm cookie? Anybody ever have that at DoubleTree? You want to know how that came about? You want to hear the brilliance of how that came about? Who wants to hear the brilliance? If you want to hear the brilliance, type a B. Here's how the brilliance came about. A 22, 23-year-old is sitting at a table with a board of directors, and everybody's arguing over stuff. And he just jumps up and he goes, "Good God, let's just give him a cookie and a milk and send him to bed." That's literally how that came about. And he became the youngest director. They go, "Brilliant idea. You're in charge. Make it happen." And that's how the cookies got established. Kayla, you know who that is? Curtis Broom. That's who actually created that. So he's on my board of directors. So I've got all of these people that are on my board of directors that I run ideas by them. And they're the people that can go, "You're a dumbass. How stupid is that?" I'm going, "What? It's a good idea." No, you're not doing that. Okay. Though, you know what the hardest part is with your circle of 10? Is when they call you when you've done something that's not good and didn't run it by them. Okay. We're going to shift gears here a little bit. Is this a value? Is this providing value to you? If it's providing value, drop a V in the chat. Okay. Okay, good. Just checking. It's the same kind of gears, but this is to start you to start to look at when you start to go after your secret sauce. When you begin to live at your core, this one's going to be tough for some of us. When you begin to live at your core, the people who you begin to listen to will change. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? When you begin to live at your core, what you allow into your core, see that you're going to be aware, you're going to become so aware of the things that don't serve you, that you thought served you. You're going to become so aware of what you need more of, you won't have time for other things. Listen, you want to hear a truth? As you go into the secret sauce and as you start to dive in, some of you may not spend time with me anymore. Totally get it. Totally get it. Here's why I'm excited. You're on your way. That's the hard part. See, that's the hard part when people build communities, is they think they're building a zoo. You ain't building a zoo. You're building a wildlife preserve that has free roam. And when somebody heads off and flies off, "Fly, little bird, fly," you can be excited because they get to take great values with them. Here's the question. What's the common theme for your mentors? Now, you may have some people who are polar opposites. There's a common theme. What's the common theme? Is it that it invigorates you, that it gets your juices flowing? What's the common theme among the people that you allow to pour into your life? And if you're not sure, find it. Find it quick. Find it quick. And I just want to say something real quick. She just popped in here. Ida Calabrese. That's Daniela's mom from Colombia. I can't tell you how absolutely freaking excited I am to have a mom and a daughter participating in this. Are you kidding me? When I saw her and I said from Colombia, I go, "Oh, there's a couple of people from Colombia." And then I see Daniela talk about her. I'm like, well, wait a minute. Is it really her mom or is it just somebody that she like, No, it's mom and daughter. How cool is that? So mom, gracias para su tiempo. So bienvenidos a todos. So gracias, tanto gracias. So I'm just so excited. I'm so excited about that. So What's the common theme among your mentors? Question. Think about this. I hope you had some brain food yesterday, because we're really getting the brains. How do your mentors give recognition? Think about this. The people you hang around, how do your mentors give recognition? Do they give it? What is the criteria for them to give praise? And does that fit your criteria? Do you have to be, in network marketing a lot, you've got to be a certain rank. We hear about these stories. I haven't really seen it, but my energy won't hang around those people. So maybe that's why I haven't seen it. But you got to be a certain rank in order to get my time. Well, didn't you start off as a beginner? Is that how you were treated? So it doesn't matter. So I look at, how does Napoleon Hill, babe, could you turn on the fan for me? How does Napoleon Hill give me recognition? Napoleon Hill's not alive. How does Jim Rohn give me recognition? How does Bob Proctor give me recognition? These are my mentors. How do they give me recognition? They give me the chance to brag on them. They give me an education I didn't have before. They give me an experience to do things I haven't done before. I find my own way to be recognized by those mentors who aren't in the living world. They're in the spiritual world. So Alex, Science of Getting Rich, pretty amazing. So think about this. The mentors that you follow, the mentors that you pay attention to, how do they give you recognition? How do they allow you to be recognized? You've probably never heard that question asked of you before, or asked of your mentors before. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. How many of you know your mentors' before stories? Before they hit the place where they hit, do you know their before stories? Now, here's the next question. Do you know the rest of the story? See, that's a huge difference. You can know the before story. Do you know the rest of the story? Jim Rohn had a couple of wives. Do you know the challenges that he had there? All of these kinds of little things. And that's where it's understanding the essence, understanding the secret sauce. One of the greatest stories I know about Jim Rohn is when Kyle Wilson started to promote him. And it was one of the first handful events that Kyle had done with Jim. See, Jim used to get about $3,000 to $4,000 for speaking, and he would speak about 20 times a year. Kyle said to him, Kyle was booking him at those times, and Kyle finally said to him, listen, I don't want a contract, but I want to be able to get you as often as I can, and I'll pay you up front $10,000 for every event. So he went from $3,000 to $4,000 an event, speaking 20 times a year, to $10,000 an event, speaking at least 100 times a year. So do you think Jim would spend some time with Kyle? Do you think he would give some time to Kyle? And so in this beginning, Jim got booked and Kyle booked it, and they're getting ready to do an event. Some of you have heard the story. Jim's event is supposed to start at 9:00. But when Kyle got to the hotel at 6 a.m., there's already an event going on in the room they're supposed to be working in. And so he's freaking out going, what time does this event end? At 9:00. He's like, but our meeting starts at 9. Yeah, we kind of double booked. We're sorry. He's freaking out. He's got all these people coming. People are starting to register at 7:30 because it's Jim Rohn. Before he was really, really, really Jim Rohn. And Jim's eating breakfast, and Kyle's like pooping bullets, right? And he goes up to him and goes, Jim, there's just a screw up. and he's trying to justify it and explain it, and he's apologizing, and he's like freaking out because he's afraid Jim's going to blow his gasket. And Jim looks up from his eggs and he goes, Kyle, it'll be okay. It's not like your best friend died. Change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. Okay, so let me go back and read these questions. What's the common theme of your mentors? How do your mentors give recognition? What is the qualifications to get recognition? What is their before story? What is the rest of the story? Y'all heard those, right? Follow me on this. Y'all ready for kind of a big kick in the chest? These questions will be asked about you one day. How do you want your students to answer them? That changes it a little bit, doesn't it? These questions that I just asked about your mentors will be asked about you one day. How do you want your advocates to answer them? And here's the good news, Sharon. I've got them written down here. I think you'll get a copy. And here's the thing. Questions like this, I'll put them in the secret sauce. I'll put them in the unit section. I'll put them in the PDF. I'll just snap a picture of them and put them in the PDF files. Would that be okay? Would you all like that? Okay. Because this is why I want people, this is why I want you to bring people to this, because there's a certain psychographic that's going to be a part of this. If you're inside the secret sauce community, you're going to have access to this. Now, they're going to have to watch the video. They may get to ask questions on a live, but those of you that are part of the secret sauce, the June Club, the founding members, you've got access to me, to the guy adding the ingredients in. So let's go to ask some questions here. Good morning, Jessica. I see your hand up, my love. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are we? I was going to say, how are you? How are we? How's everyone? I am running on 2 hours sleep.
Cool.
Because I'm so excited. And I don't even know where to begin. I'm going to edify you first. Sean, I can thank you enough. My whole mindset is completely changed, like so much. And the way that you pour into us, and the way that you see the world, and the way that you look at something and then you turn it around, and then it's like a Rubik's Cube. I see a Rubik's Cube in The Pursuit of Happiness, you know, with Will Smith, when he has the Rubik's Cube and he's in the car and he turns it, and the guy's saying, oh, you can't do the whole Rubik's Cube that fast. And he's like, yeah, I can. If you give me a chance, I can. And Sean, that's what you do with us every day. You look at the Rubik's Cube and you go, okay, you don't see it like this, I'm going to change it like this. Right. If you don't see it like that, I'm going to change it around. You don't see this color, I'm going to give it another color, but I'm going to show you. If you let me, I'm going to show you. And so I've written this down because yesterday, Jeremy's going to laugh. Okay, watch this. Watch Jeremy, right? So I thought about my fears, okay, because I had this thought about writing down my fears and then looking at them differently, but it was just a thought. I never actually did it. So one of my fears is I can't stand spiders, okay? Watch Jeremy, right? I can't stand them. So I was thinking, I'm really scared of spiders. I'm scared that when my parents die, I don't know what's going to happen. This uncertainty that I don't like, that's just lingering. And then I did some work on my phone, and I was, you know, messaging, doing this and doing that. And then half an hour later, guess what crawled in my bed? Watch Jeremy. I jumped out of bed. I jumped like nothing you've ever, like I was electrocuted. And it was this spindly spider, and his legs were really, really long. And you know when they're like see-through, and he was kind of crawling around, and I was like, oh, and I was thinking of Jeremy, and I was like, oh, this spider. So then I'm looking at the spider like, oh, this is so annoying, because lots of things have annoyed me. And I thought, this is the old story, forget that. Like, I hurt my neck, I iced my neck. Thought, no, this old story has to come at me some other way, because this is not going to bother me. So I iced my neck, I felt better, I moved my neck. I was like, see, my neck is fine, we are good to go. Forget the old story, it's not happening. So then I'm looking at the spider at the floor now, because it's 3 a.m, and I'm like, there's a spider in my room, and I'm really annoyed. So I'm like, okay, this is the old story. You know, this is old. You're not scared of spiders anymore. It's okay. So I'm looking at the spider. I get a white box. I'm like, it's all right. And I pat it on the head because it's an old story. So I go, it's okay. Don't worry. I've got you. And I get the spider in the box, and I'm shaking. My hands are shaking because I can't stand them. And I'm like, it's all right. It's okay. I'm talking to a spider at 3 a.m. Like, what is going on? So then I open the window and I let the spider out the window. Right, so then I'm sitting there carrying on with my work. This girl messages me out of nowhere. I've never spoken to her before. Messages me, she says, I really want to work from home. Can you tell me more? I'm like, okay, let's go. So I speak to her, and she said, I was explaining, I was talking about it, and then she said, what's the company? And I had Sean in my head, and Sean said, that's the pattern. This is the pattern. Don't answer it. The pattern is here. Do not say what she wants to hear, which is the pattern, which then she'll go, no, don't do it. So then I said, well, I work in curiosity marketing. So this is what we do. And I completely talk about something else, because you have to redirect, because we're not going with the pattern. Okay. And then I brought her back, and she was like, I want to hear more. So I carry on talking to her, and she came back, and then something else came. It was the pattern. I heard it straight away. It was like, the pattern's come back. And then I was like, no, it's okay. I said, I can answer all your questions. And then I said, can I tell you something really strange? And I realized when I said, can I tell you something that you might seem strange? That was when you say, do you have my permission to make you feel uncomfortable? But this is how I said it. It was the same words in my head, mm-hmm. But for me, I just wrote, I knew that if I tell you something strange, is it okay? And she said, yeah, sure. And I told her some things that would be strange, you know, some good things about the company, which would be strange if I, you know, told her. And she said, oh, that seemed pretty crazy. I said, I know, right? And I said, but it's okay. I can go through your questions. And she came back. And then I had to close, and I'm so excited to invite her into the team so we can talk to her. So I'm sitting there thinking, what just happened? It all went like, great. This is crazy. This is what I've wanted. I've wanted to do that quickly for ages. And I've only joined in April. So I don't know, it's crazy. And then I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, hold on. I was thinking about a spider, and then a spider showed up, right? So if I'm sitting here and I'm fearing all these things, and then I track them so fast that they come here, this is ridiculous, right? So I got my journal out, and you're going to laugh. So I get my journal out and I write, if I'm gonna sit here and fear about all this nonsense, I may as well say that I'm scared of winning the lottery, because so I wrote, I should tell Sean, I'm scared of winning the lottery. I'm scared of finding the love of my life. I'm scared of having a great life, guys. I'm so scared. You know what? Because it's going to show up like that.
You know, the truth is stranger than fiction. And what you just said is, Bob Proctor would say this all the time. If you're going to worry about something, this was 20 years ago he said this. He said, if you're going to worry about something, worry about being too rich. Worry about being super healthy. Because what you think about, you bring about.
Yes.
So you're absolutely right. But this is, Tony Robbins talked about this, and I knew this, but I hadn't, and I've heard it before, but it, you know, I'm a little slow. It takes a little while. He talks, this is about stacking. And we stack this on top of that, on top of this, on top of that, on top of this. And so now you're just stacking all of the positives. I'm too healthy, I'm too skinny, I'm too rich, I'm too this, I'm too that. And all of a sudden, you change the state of your mind. They can literally take an fMRI, functional magnetic resonance imaging machine, and the left prefrontal cortex stores the negative, and the right prefrontal cortex stores the positive neurons in your brain. And they can literally count them. And at some point in the future, they're going to give you a brain scan for insurance. And if you've got more negative, your insurance policies are probably going to be higher than those that are positive.
Wow.
So if you have a tendency to have, if you have more positive neurons in your brain than you do negative, what do you think there's a chance your day is going to be like?
Oh, amazing.
So what you just did, put more positive neurons in your brain.
So I completely rewired, because after I wrote, I'm going to tell Sean I'm scared of this, I'm scared of that, and I was laughing at myself, right? So then in my journal, I wrote rewire, and then I don't know if it turned into a prayer. I kind of wrote, I prayed for all the things I really want in my life, for all the things that I genuinely, you know, hand on my heart, if God was sitting next to me right now and he sat here with me with a piece of paper, I feel like I'm going to cry in a minute. And I literally said, this is what I want. I would know exactly what I would say, like off the drop of a hat. So then I keep writing. I was writing. And then it's like my inner child came out, and I wrote, I don't know if I should read it, but because it's like, this is like the Rhonda journal with
Is
the
that,
car.
I was going to say, is that the click journal?
I've got, this one has a rubber band, but I'm so scared. Okay, so all right, so this is my inner child. Okay, so this is mine. So it says, I want to look in the mirror and see the girl who believed in dreams and believed that everything looked and felt precious. I want to remember when I watched Pocahontas on ice, and at the end the leaves fell from the ceiling. There were multicolored leaves falling, and my granny opened her handbag, and as though it was money, she said, catch them all, catch them all. And I didn't know what was happening. All I know is God had let me be with my family, and I felt safe and empowered and precious, like a delicate piece of gold. And it's almost like, I don't know, it's just it was this feeling of, that's it, that is dreaming again, that is that's that place I was, where I was, everything was just great and everything seemed possible. Everything, if you told me when I was a little girl that I could fly, I'd say yeah at that point. And after that I just looked at my journal like, what just happened? What was that? And then this is where it gets this, because I'm learning about spirituality. This is not my what's the word? This is not my expertise. So after reading Gabrielle Bernstein's Super Attractor, I've written different things down, and then in my phone, in my phone, I was looking at quotes, and there was quotes by Abraham Hicks. And one of them was manifest anything in one day. And I wrote it down. And I was like, because Gabrielle always talks about how spiritually things can happen through technology. She's very strong on things happening when you're working and you don't even realize. And that's when I was like, whoa. And I wrote it down. And then do you remember when Evelyn was talking about her day, and I said, I wrote in my journal, I surrender my fear and I listen to my higher self and letting go of what doesn't serve me. Do you remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then I sat here and I thought, well, I did surrender my fear, because I told you one of my stories that I was trying to hide for such a long time, and I told you. And so I already did that. I already surrendered it without even realizing. So I'm just.
So what did you have to give up to let that happen?
I had to give up the addiction to approval first. Because I think, like you said today, everyone thinks, oh, I have a shocker, but no one needs to know. Nobody needs to know that. They do need to know. They need to know so they can connect with you. They need to know so they can say, oh my gosh, she's human. Oh, you know what? It can be anyone that you look up to, and you hear one story from them that made them feel this big, and you go, they're human. They're just like me. Everything about them is just like me. Everything. Absolutely.
And what happens is that in the beginning, right? In the beginning, everybody's going to know that, because it's a small group that's following you.
Yeah.
There comes a point to where you're never going to have to tell the story again, because your community will tell it for you. Then there's a point to where you give your community this chance. This is understanding. This is understanding how you, quote, market your story, is when you have an audience that allows, when you go to tell the story, they're all nudging everybody, going, you got to listen to this. Guess what's coming? It's like going to your favorite movie and bringing somebody, going, oh, watch this. Here comes my favorite part. Here comes my favorite part. Watch. And they're like, just let me watch the movie. That's when you know you're building your tribe, is when they go, okay, here, watch this. Well, they're going to do this. And this is why this is important, understanding your secret sauce. It needs to be duplicatable. You need to duplicate it whenever you do it. There may be a little cultural difference. There may be a little localization. When I tell my story in Italy, or if I tell my story in Serbia, or if I tell my story in Hong Kong, it changes based upon the culture. Just for the culture to understand the story doesn't change. Does that make sense?
That makes so much.
So you have this beautiful accent that you don't think you have an accent, but to all of us, you have an accent, unless you're from the UK. But when you come to Texas, you really don't have to be crazy on your story. Your accent draws us in. When you go to France, your story is going to culturalize, it's going to localize, and that's understanding how to add a special ingredient into your secret sauce as you go global.
Yeah.
And you'll go global through a platform like this, through a platform like IG. So how do you feel now that you've just had this awakening in the last 72 hours?
I didn't need a coffee, I'll tell you that. And when I was writing in my journal after, I had so much energy. I just wanted it all to happen again. And I just wanted to
say that again. Say it again.
Say what again?
I want it to all happen again.
Oh,
Right? That's what you just said. I want it to all happen again.
It will. It
will. But my point is that it can never happen the way it did. No. It'll all happen again in a whole new understanding. And then guess what you'll say after that experience? I want it to happen again. And then it'll happen again at a whole new level. And you'll say, I want that to happen again. Are you vibrating right now? Are you like goosebumps right now? Because I am. And then that'll happen and you'll go, I want that to happen again. See, you get to tell the story of coming onto this call on a Saturday on June 27th, where you had a very large awakening. And this day will always be a day that resides in your history. When somebody says to you, Jessica, do you remember when it happened? I can remember the day that I talked about it. I think it led up to that moment, but the day that I expressed it and I went into my rubber band journal, because that's how you get to tell the story. When Rhonda says I go into my click journal, we all know what's about to happen. And you get to now use that expression. And I would keep that journal. That journal will be a part of your legacy. That needs to go on stage with you.
Yeah, and I will show you. I'm going to show you guys, right? These are all my journals. I can't even pick them up. Okay, this is some. Okay, that's some of them. And then if I put that down, these are from like years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all of these. And I can look at some of these, like this one is recent. This one is recent. I just finished like 2 weeks ago or something. But some of them, I just look at them, and I can tell you it was a struggle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like you just look at the cover, or you just look at it, and I can sit here and tell you, if I open that, it's just pure struggles, and you would have said, oh, how did you get through that? And I'll tell you, oh, I did it. I grew through it. Made me who I am. That's why I'm sitting here. You know, and
as you go through this, it's important to these moments. I'd take a screenshot of this picture. I would put it in gallery view, and I would take a screenshot of this, Jess, because this is one of those moments. When somebody says 5 years from now, as you stand on stage and you travel around the world or do whatever it is at the highest level you're able to do it at, people are going to go, when did you so when did you get lucky? Let me show you a picture. See that little girl up there in wherever you're located on the screen? See that little girl right there? That was me. It was one of my coming out parties. What? You? Because nobody ever sees the struggle you've been through when you're at the place they want to be. Let me say that again. Nobody sees the struggle you've been through when you're at the place they want to be. They only see whose struggle. Theirs. It's why when you say they're human, they're just like me. It's why you need your advocates, because if you keep telling your story, it's about you bragging. Because whenever you reach the pinnacle of success that people want to see you at, they go, oh, well, yeah, but you know, your pain isn't as hard as my pain. There's a good chance your pain is harder than their pain. Why? Because you had enough polarization to say, I'm out.
Yeah, it's so true. And now I honestly want to write down everything I'm scared of. Everything. Because I don't care.
Everybody listening just went, what?
I couldn't care. If you told me I'm scared of a snake, I'd be like, yeah, all right, that's nice. I couldn't. I honestly want to write down everything that's annoying me now, and then just rewire your brain.
Well, how else can you fix it?
Oh,
right? Shoving it aside, putting it in the closet doesn't ever get it organized. At least presenting it to your subconscious, at least taking your subconscious out of the dark and putting it on stage going, we're going to talk about you. We may not talk about you for long, but I'm at least going to recognize you. And as soon as you recognize, yeah, Sharon, poof, that's how it goes.
Yeah. And the thing is I can spend hours and days sitting with my parents and listening to the hardships they've had and everything they did for me, and I'm so grateful. And You know, they work so hard, and I am so proud of them for everything, all the times that they've been there for me. And we are family. Everyone here, every single one of you, we are all family. We are all connected, all of us. And I honestly want all of our children to find a book, find a notebook that says all the things that we do to try and rewire. I want them to find it and go, what's this? Oh my gosh, what? Maybe that's how I can get through this.
Now you know what. Now you know why I do all of these. It's for my great grandchildren who I'll never have the chance to sit in space and time with, but I'll be in time and space with them. It's for the legacy.
Isn't there a space movie about that? What's it called? There is. Oh, there is a film, and there's
Interstellar. I think Bakumi just wrote
Interstellar. Yes.
And how smart Bakumi is. Look at Bakumi. How could you just like sit and watch Bakumi? If we could just put a camera on her while she watches like videos and different things.
She's amazing. You know, James Brown did Jason Brown, wasn't it? Did a call, and he was talking about Kanye, and he was talking about how he, you know, if anyone's done anything good, it's Kanye. And then this Jason's there, this entrepreneur sitting with all his trophies in the background, and he's there like for ages. How long was it? Bakumi's laughing so hard. It must have been 10-15 minutes. This entrepreneur sitting there, he's really successful, and he's like, who's that guy? Who's that guy? Bakumi said the name of the guy straight away. He said, Bakumi! Yes! I jumped. I was like, Bakumi's a world changer. All of you are world changers. All of you. You help your families every day by being here on this call. Every day by listening, you help your family.
Could you imagine what it was like? Think about this. The sun that we sit under is the same sun Epictetus sits under, Marcus Aurelius, Martin Luther King, Mother Teresa, Gandhi. They all started off in a small community where somebody said, I'm with you.
Yes.
Y'all get that?
Yeah.
We're all sitting here together, and one of you is going to be the one that's going to literally become a household name for eons.
Yeah. And this will give you goosebumps. When I first watched Les Brown, Hungry, and I sat there and I thought, oh, this is so old, but I must watch all of it. I have to watch all of it because it looks amazing. And I'd never seen it before. It was that moment at the end when he says, okay, I just want you all to meet someone just quickly. Rosa Parks, can you come up here? The Rosa Parks. I was thinking, how old was she then? All he did was say, I really want you to just say hello to her. And she got up out of the chair and she walks on stage at the end of Les Brown's video. And she just stands up there and she just bows her head and she went and sat down. That had me in tears straight away, off the bat. Because she didn't say anything. What did she say? She didn't say a lot, but she was a world changer.
She spoke volumes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So just, she did so much. And I'm so grateful for this family. I love you all so much. I just want to hug you all. We all need to meet. We need to.
We will have a misfit meeting. There's no doubt.
It's done.
Let's go to Dakaya. Where's Dakaya? Hello. Dakaya. She's probably arguing with Granny. Dakaya, you there? We'll come back to Dakaya. And let's go to Anne. Oh, I got to unmute him. I'm sorry. I got to ask to unmute. Hang on. Dakaya.
Yeah, Dakaya wasn't. Yeah, there you go. It's okay.
There you go.
Good
Sorry,
morning,
my love.
everyone.
I'm-
You're all
I
right.
kind of changed the rules up, so I'll get it. Good morning,
It's
Dakaya.
okay. Good morning. And no, my grandma actually, she just walked up to me and she couldn't.
Why are you laughing? Is Granny,
Because she
Granny
walked
mad at
up
me?
to me.
I love you, Granny.
No, and she was like, tell Sean I love his bra. And she just walks away.
Granny, I feel your pain.
Oh my goodness, because we were watching the video yesterday. Oh my. Okay, and then oh man. And so I was like, I really wanted to ask you this question like for a really long time
Okay.
because it's just been swirling around in my head. But what does your middle name stand for? Because I feel like every time I hop on the call, I like come up with a new one like every day, like just to keep my curiosity going. But I never ask you. So that's my question for you today, Sean. What's your middle name?
So, I'll let me give you a little backstory. It's real quick. So
Okay.
my oldest brother's name is Michael G. Murphy. My middle brother's name is James G. Murphy, and I'm Sean G. Murphy. We all have the same middle name.
Okay.
Now, my mother she was 5 years old, still speaking Russian, and probably Russian Jew, but she raised Catholic. So
Okay.
she used to go to the church to one of the big cathedrals in New York, and she would stop by, and she didn't understand why this guy was hung on a cross until later on she learned. But so we were all named Gerard, and Gerard was the patron saint of pregnant women and healthy children. So it was Michael Gerard, James Gerard, and Sean Gerard. So we were all named after this patron saint, Saint Gerard, the patron saint of pregnant women and healthy children. So that's what it stands for, Gerard, Gerard.
Wow, I never would have guessed that one. I thought Gary, Greg, like I had a whole list, I'm telling
And
you.
Gerard is from Ireland. That's why my name Sean, Sean, is the Gaelic for John. So my mom saw that one day, and I don't know, maybe it was Sean Connery or something, right? So, but yeah.
I love that so much. And actually, that's kind of how it is with my mom. No, with my dad, my sister, and I. We all have the initials DJB. So yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Keep
All right, let's go to our next caller. That one was easy. At least I knew the answer to that one. Most of these others, I got to wait for a download. Thanks to Kai. I love you. And say, hey, Granny. I love you, Granny. Let's go to Anne. Let me unmute. There you go.
Hey, Sean. How are you?
Outstanding, Anne.
Can you hear me, by the way, or can you hear my background?
Nope, I hear you perfectly. No background. And before we get started, y'all throw some love Anne's way. Just send some hearts her way. Send her some joy. Send her some love.
Thank you, Sean. How is everyone? I hope everyone is doing well. So I just wanted to say, firstly, that, you know, the 100 things that you love about yourself. So I had a huge awakening yesterday and today. So I've been crying for like 2 days, but I'll get to that. So you gave us to do 100 things that you liked about yourself. And I've managed to do 608 today. And I am willing to go to 1,000. So I haven't written any notes from your call today because I'm like, I don't want to break the page. I don't want to write notes. So I'm going to get the notes of Bukumi if she'll give it to me. But yes, I've gone up to 608. I went through my folder when I was a kid of all the certificates that I had received. And some of them were like 100% attendance. And I had never, ever credited myself for attending anything. I'm going to cry. I'm going to like, oh, how many times have I cried on these calls? God damn it. So I looked at these certificates and I was just like, wow, like you really attended school every single day. Like, why didn't you celebrate yourself for that? Like, because I was told like attendance is nothing. Like, can you get certificates for real subjects like maths and science and English and blah, 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 blah. So I just looked at attendance and I was like, oh my God, I'm so great. Like attending school. And now that I'm a teacher as well, like knowing what my kids go through and seeing that different perspective, I'm like, no, you really did attend school. Like all that anxiety, all that trying to fit into school, everything. I mean, you attended school. So it was nice to put down attendance as an achievement for once, even though I never looked at it as an achievement. I'd also like looked at like letters that I had received from teachers, reports that I have when I first came to England. So like literally on my report, it was like English, math, science, you, which is basically ungraded because I couldn't speak English. But then they would like write a lovely comment like, she's really hardworking and blah, 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 blah. But it's a you. And I'd always concentrated on the you, like I'd never seen myself for anything else. And today I sat down and read all the comments, and it was a nice Saturday to just be able to read things I had achieved that are not ranked, you know, not like, you know, I got this many A stars and this many A's. It was nice to look at myself in a very different way. Like he'd even written down like things that I've achieved that I would never say before that I've achieved them. Like it's, you know, like I got a gold certificate for memorizing my 12 times table. Now 2 days ago I would have been like, that is, everyone does that. But like today I'm like, I studied my 12 times table. I'm proud of myself. Like, and I got a gold certificate for it. So that was my thing for today. That's what I did today. So I'm up to 608. Everyone here hold me accountable. I'm going to get to 1,000 hopefully by the end of the day, and then tomorrow I should have 1,000. But yeah, that was for today. And then so yesterday I was on Moshe's meditation. I don't think Moshe is here today. Is he here?
In spirit.
He's here in spirit. Okay. So Moshe and Jeremy spoke into me, and they, oh my God, I cannot thank them. I mean, I can thank them enough, but they have done so much for me. I don't even think they realize. Yeah. So yesterday they spoke into me. So Moshe does his meditation, and then afterwards he does his 20-minute mastermind, and Jeremy had picked me to talk. And at first I was like, what the hell do I speak about? Like, I don't have anything to say. Meditation is not my forte. Like, I don't know. I just like to sit here. So then he just started the conversation, and I was just talking, and three things that they had said. So I tried to hold myself together for your call, for Nano's call. And then as soon as Nano's call ended, I burst into tears for like the rest of the day. And this morning I was in tears as well. And then my mind tried to trick me, but I'll get onto that. So Jeremy was like to me, follow your hearts. And I've been told that before, but it didn't mean anything. And then when he said it, it literally, my heart was like, I am sad. Like, I'm not happy. And before I go, I'm going to move on to the next thing. And then Moshe said to me, you care too much what people think. And the thing is, I've been deluding myself because I have friends or people around me who care about what people think more than I do. So it makes me think that I don't care as much, whereas I still do. But I've deluded myself into being like, I don't care what she says because I don't react like that, but I do, but in a different way. So that got to me as well. And then Moshe said to me, do you have an accountability partner? And I said to him, I don't trust anyone. Like, I could be someone else's accountability partner, but I could never. And so then my mum was like, why don't you have an accountability partner? And I said to her, because no one's going to want the best for me like I do. No one's gonna like want me to win. And she was like, that's a weird, she was like, they're not asking you, you're not asking them to make you money, you're just asking them to hold you accountable. So that's really weird. So then me and my mom had a conversation yesterday, And Moshe gave me 3 questions to ask myself. Hold on. It was, where are you in life right now? Where do you want to go? Why do you want to go there? And what do you require of yourself to go to these places? So I started with these questions, ended up writing 10 pages. I don't even know if I've answered these questions, but it was just like, it took me to a whole different path. I was talking about me being a lone wolf. I was like, where did that come from? I was talking about me being like, not being able to give and receive, because I feel like giving is like a space that I don't want people to control. And I was like, damn, like I didn't know these things were inside me. And then I talked about like, you know, in my childhood, I felt like I wasn't being protected because some adults had spoken inappropriately to me, not like anything weird sexually, like inappropriately meaning like just things that you shouldn't say to a child.
Right.
And I just wrote and wrote and wrote. And then I wrote, what do you really want? And for these past, like I said before, like I don't know what I want. Like I know what I want by the end of year 5, but I don't know what I want now. So I wrote, why do you want to go there? Where do you want to go? And the answers that I got were completely different to what I thought I wanted. So I wanted like the ones that I've written on my wall. I want a husband for 5 kids. I want assets. I want a G-Wagon. I want a private yacht. I want a private jet, all this BS. And then when it got to it, what I really, really wanted was like to serve, but I've written a list of all, I don't want to go all into it because, you know, there are probably going to be people who want to speak, but I just wrote a list of things that I was just like, I didn't know that this is what I wanted. I was like, okay, I'm genuinely shocked because I thought I just wanted like a cute little family, a yacht, a big house, you know, a private jet and all this. And then it ended up being like, I wanted something completely different. So that was also another awakening. And then my mom said something yesterday to me that really struck me. She said to me, so for the first 24 years of your life, you've been listening to me and you've been doing everything that I've said, me, dads and teachers and lecturers and society, blah, blah, blah. And then she was like, now you stopped listening to us a little bit and now you're listening to Sean and you're doing everything Sean wants. And Sean said this and Sean said that and Moshe said this and Jeremy said this. So she was like, when is it going to be what you want? And I was like, I want what they say they want. And she was like, no, you're telling me Sean wants what you want. So Sean wants a yacht. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know what Sean wants, but I think he might want similar things. And she was like calling me out on my BS. So then I tried to write down the things that I, you know, like, where is my voice, sort of, who is Anne? Because Moshe told me to ask that as well. And I came up with a completely different answer for that as well. I did not realize, let me just look through, wait, because it was 10 pages. So I don't, yeah, so I wrote, I don't know if this is the right answer, if my brain's tricking me or whatever, but I wrote, so who is Anne Viveka Pio? And I wrote down, she is unconditional love, peace and open arms, nurturing. She sees beauty in everything and holds hands with everyone. Yeah, I did not think that was me. I didn't know that that's how I could describe myself. I mean, if someone asked me to describe myself, I would say long black hair, Sri Lankan, googly eyes, like things that are like physical. So this was very, very weird. And then I got to a point and my mind was like, ask yourself what your 8-year-old Anne wants. And I was like, I don't know what happened to me at 8, but clearly I was traumatized. So I was like, what do you want? And she keeps saying, I want to play. And I'm like, play with what? Like, you're a grown woman now. So I realized that everything that I do for others. So if I was to buy a dress, I'm buying a dress for a party. If I'm buying a mascara, it's because my last mascara has run out and I need to keep up appearances. If I want to buy, I don't know, a book, it's because someone else has recommended it to me. It's never because I've wanted it, me, like because of me. So today I realized what I really, really, really want is I want to record myself for the next couple of months, weeks, years, whatever, of just everything that makes me happy. So like dancing around, singing, whatever. So I've decided that I'm going to buy myself an iPad, and that's going to be my Joy iPad. Not that I don't have Joy anywhere else, but like I just want to record myself just doing all sorts of crazy, crazy things that I think the world shouldn't see, and just record it. And then when I'm ready, I'll release it if I want to release it. If not, it'll just be things that make me happy. But I feel like this is the first purchase that I'm going to make that's for me. And I've also not asked my mum for permission to buy it, because I think this is me growing. So it's my decision and not hers. And also I've realized after talking to Jeremy that he connected how me walking again was me like trying to re-find my path, etc. And I've also realized I've changed in a lot of different ways. So I am learning to walk again. I'm learning to eat again. So I don't eat the things that I used to want to eat. Like junk food does not even tempt me anymore. I can walk past Pizza Hut. I've walked past Domino's. I'm like, no, thank you. I don't eat ice cream anymore, knowing dairy is not good for me. I don't drink anything that's bad. Like if I have to have anything, I'll have like the tiniest thing possible. So that's really changed because I've never used to be like that. I used to be like an emotional eater. I will eat everything that you put in front of me. So I've changed through, what did I say? Walking, eating. I sleep differently now as well. I sleep for about 4 hours a day, and I feel much better than I did before. And I'm also about to change religions as well, which is a whole different, I feel like it's a rebirth. Like I'm learning to be a child again. I am like, and the one thing that really struck me that I loved reading about Hinduism is that it said there is no one path to God. So Hinduism realizes that there are several different paths, and we're accepting of all religions and all paths and all walks of life. And I was like, that is who I kind of identify as well. Like I want to be part of something that is open, if that makes sense. So yeah, so I don't know if that's everything that I wanted to say. These past 24 to 48 hours have been a lot. Yes, I feel so good. I feel amazing. I'm just, wow. Like this is the biggest awakening that I've had so far. I haven't cried like this in ages. My parents slightly think there's something wrong with me. And they were like, I think you should take some days off and not do anything. I'm like, no, I'm fine. This is how I get through things. So Bukumi, they've said I've lost my mind. In a good way. Yeah. So yeah, I'm buzzing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
That was a long speech for anyone that was listening, but yeah.
But it's how we clear. It's why we have to have the auditory. We can't keep it silent. So I applaud you. I love you. I congratulate you.
Thank you.
Awesome sauce. Let's go to Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Oh, I got to unmute you. Here we go. There you go.
Okay. I really didn't want to say a whole lot today, but I was thinking, especially while you were talking about those memories of, you know, like the wins that you had not celebrated. And when I wrote, you know, I had this whole box load of trophies that I threw out because this company, I never made any money in it, you know, and I ended up 50,000 in credit card debt from it. but I won those trophies, and I won them because I showed up, and you know, I did what I was told to do, and I learned enough. I stayed in the company long enough that I would know that I could do it if I wanted to. So when I brought in, you know, something like 180,000 in volume in the last 3 months I was there, even though I only made 2,000 from it. I knew I could do it, you know. But the other thing that I was thinking about also was when I was you know, I don't know if people did this, but when I was a kid at graduations, people would go around with these little notebooks and get people to write little things in them, you know, celebrating them or something. It was like a, what did you call it? I don't know, but everybody wrote their little comments. So when I graduated from 6th grade, my teacher wrote, "Know yourself, be yourself." And that stuck with me my whole life. That was one of the most important pieces of input to who I've become, because he said, "Know yourself, be yourself." And I took that to heart. In a way, Lord knows why, but I did. And it's like, that is who I've become. Somebody who absolutely will not stop at becoming more of who I am and knowing myself better and becoming more. And as I listen to all of you, I'm realizing there's a way we wire stories by saying them over and over and over again. It's like, you know, I don't want to retell you the story of my headache kind of thing because it brings it back. But the reality of it is what you did, I think it was Anne, no, maybe it was Jessica, one of you, what you did by wanting to write down all the things you're afraid of, what you're doing is you're saying, I'm not afraid of these things. I just, well, I've got all these ridiculous fears. And it all dissolves. It literally does dissolve. And I have been doing work where they say you can heal it once and for all. And it's like, yeah, right. You know, because I've never healed stuff once and for all until I met these incredible misfits that you are, and stepped into who I really am. And I'm so excited to see now that I've eliminated the monkey chatter, there's this space to create, to become. And I'm just energized and alive and excited and so grateful that I get to do this with you. And I will never stop with that know yourself, be yourself inside me. And that teacher has no idea what impact he had on my life by writing those few words. And you don't know whose life you're impacting, you know. And once when I had been a teacher, and once 7, 8 years later, I was on a bus and I ran into one of the kids that I'd had, 8 years earlier, and he had grown into this beautiful young man. And he said, "You have no idea what a difference you made for me." And I thought I was the worst teacher on the planet. I really was not a very good teacher. but there were kids that I did impact, that I made a difference in their lives. So you never know what difference you're making every day. And the difference we make is when we get outside ourselves and we're actually being in service. Because if it's all about us, we never get there. So that's my thought for the day. And thank you, Sean. I'm having so much fun. Sean told me, he gave me a challenge at the beginning of June to get 30 new people. And I thought, I can do that, And then he said, well, you could get 90. And I completely shut down, did nothing. I mean, I couldn't get anything. And then all of a sudden, something clicked in my brain around Father's Day. This week, I think I got 7 new people. So if I could do, and that's just me personally, and the team is coming up. So once the team grows, I'm seeing Delia growing and learning and changing. And I'm knowing that the right people are coming, and it may not happen tomorrow, but it's happening. Nothing is going to stop me. In July, my challenge to myself is get the 90. I'm going for 90. I'm not going for 30. So I just want you to know that.
Love you, Sharon.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, Leo. Take that stretch there, buddy. Let me unmute you. Hang on. There you go.
Hello, good morning, my
Good
beautiful people. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, Sean.
Hello,
How
brother.
are you?
Outstanding.
I really just wanted to piggyback off of Jess and Ann this morning and to tell you both thank you. And I'm going to tell you why. My spirit has been like suppressed. I feel like not suppressed in a way where like I haven't been able to be myself. But with what you ladies shared today, I was like, I wrote down the questions that Jess shared in her journal because it just resonated with me so much. And me, I've been a little resistant in writing in my journal for the fact that I'm writing about myself. And then the task that you gave us about the 100 list. I did this before when you asked us to do this. I think it was about a month ago or a month and a half ago. And I got up to 70 things. And then I can't find that list. I wrote it in one of my pads and I can't find it. So then I'm like, okay, universe, you want me to rewrite this thing. So I'm in the current process of rewriting it. And then I'm listening to Ann. And then Ann, from what you had spoke about with the meditation with Jeremy and Moshe, which I didn't get a chance to log in yesterday. But to hear that that's what your breakthrough was yesterday, also smacked me in the face even more so, which is celebrating my wins to allow me to walk in my path. And so it was the combination of what you shared, Justin, what you shared, and that I just want to say thank you because it just shook me up this morning, along with, of course, the task you gave us, Sean, because it's something that my programming, my old programming is fighting against, and it doesn't want me to do it. But then my inner spirit is pushing itself, of course, through our conversations today. And of course, I have all of my stuff in front of me. I have my journal in front of me. I have my pad where I'm writing my things in front of me. And then, of course, I'm taking notes for today. And then what Sharon just said, I have this 1 line a day book that my friend gifted me a while back. And that was my line for today, Sharon. So thank you for that. But it's all these things that I kind of been resistant towards. And I wanted to ask you, Sean, the breakthroughs that I'm hearing with these ladies is my spirit is like yearning for that same breakthrough, but I have yet to have that happen for myself yet. Is that in line with comparing myself, or is that in line with that resistance that I'm feeling?
It's both. It's staying out of the moment. Because here's the thing, if you can hear it, then you've had it.
Right.
So you've heard their breakthroughs, you've had the breakthrough. What's keeping you from living the breakthrough, not being in this moment? And that's what happens over time. As you begin to journal, as you begin to narrow your focus, you get more and more into the moment. And when you get into the moment, that's when it happens. It took Ann to get to 600 things, and she had the breakthrough. Jessica, again, these breakthroughs usually happen when we've exhausted ourselves. Ann's been up for 2 days. Jessica is on 2 hours. It's when you finally break down enough to have the breakthrough. You've been exhausted. There's a moment where the exhaustion turns into the breakthrough. And you stop running off of the battery and you start running on the alternator. See, because you'll always be exhausted running on the battery. I got to recharge myself. And then, and that's that external feeding. But when you get it on the internal and you start to run off the alternator of life, the alternator of your energy, there's enough energy in your body to run the city of New York for 4 days, literally, in your body. So this idea that we're tired, yes, we need to give ourselves a chance to reorganize, but we're running off the battery, and we always need this external source. But when that enthusiasm, the entheos, the God within starts to charge you, look out. And you get that when you're on the dance floor.
For sure.
So how do you bring that to sitting there in the chair? That's when the breakthrough happens. When the dance moves with you all the time, not you move into the dance. And it'll happen. It's unwiring. Trust me, there's a lot to unwire for you as a guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And you know, I will do that, Jess. I would do that. I like that. Right down East Dance style. I've done a lot of rewiring through so many different eras of my life, and this is a moment where I feel so much more spiritually connected, and much more connected with our community, or with beautiful people like you, where there's new things that are showing up for me in this new stage of my life. So that is the rewire. I believe is for me the rewiring of this stage of my life. And you know, with what Sharon had said about the past achievements and things like that, you know, I have a lot of past achievements in my life, but those achievements don't show up the same now. It's different for me now. Where it's more of I'm not sure if I'm using the right reference, but more of an intrinsic value for me, where it's I want to do more for the world than I want to do for myself, but yet I need to serve myself first before I can go out there in the world.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Cool.
Okay. I had to voice that because it was like bottled up in. And so I appreciate y'all listening to me for that. So I appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Well, I have to cut this short. So Gigi, Bakumi, Shami, please bring your questions tomorrow. I love you. I've got a 10 o'clock. I love you, love you, love you. RBP, wrap up.
Oh, wow, wrap this up. Okay, I'll do it really. I'll try to do it really quick. So listen to all y'all. This is what you told me. I wrote down all the notes on the secret sauce, and then I wrote down one big note and I highlighted it in pink and orange, and it's 3 words, and it says "Open up, Rhonda." Talking to myself, open up, Rhonda. And then I wrote these things down, and I'll just try to read the highlights. And this is me. You can take it or leave it. My why serves only to drive me to another level of vulnerability so that I will more fully step into my frontier. Finding your why, in quotes, is not for you to run to that. Finding your why is the fuel to make you run to your true dream destiny. So then the question is, what's your dream destiny? And what was given to you probably around the childhood age is where you'll find your dream destiny. And then I wrote down a whole bunch of other things. I'm trying to make it fast. And that led me into going back to the secret sauce, and how close am I to that secret sauce, because that's close to my dream destiny. And what prohibits me from seeing it, hearing it, and utilizing it, and why am I not marinating in my own secret sauce? The most attractive I can be is when I'm sitting in my own secret sauce. So why not find it and sit there? Did you just laugh at me?
Yes, because that's what everybody's desiring.
And so then I wrote this little bit down. What conversations do I have that aren't needed or put me under other people's truth? What signs should I notice to fully identify truths that don't serve me and the people who speak them? And what signs should I notice when I'm about to engage in a conversation that do not serve me or my growth and purpose? And then my brain went, hang on a second. And I said, if I'm in my secret sauce, is there any conversation I can't have?
Bingo.
So, yeah, so if that is the case, how do I remain in my secret sauce no matter the conversation? When I was a child, I feel I remained in my secret sauce more often, but it was also in childhood where my addiction to approval started. And then I switched gears a little bit and I said, why do we make our why the end result? See, we hear all this stuff about what's your why, find their why, sit on their why, you know, and then we don't even know what our why is. And then we use the wrong thing. So I'm switching it up and I'm calling it my dream destiny and my why. My why are the little steps to get me to my dream destiny. So that's what I said. My why is my fuel to get to my dream destiny. So why do we make our why the end result? It's like what Ann said, the jets, the money, the house, the car, all the freedom, all that stuff. That's not the end result you're really wanting. That's just the fuel to get you to sit into your secret sauce more. So giving our end result the title of our why dilutes the true dream destiny. When we see our true dream destiny, can we speak to that as our why instead of hearing a faux truth? So that's where I'm sitting. I skipped a whole bunch of other things, but that's kind of where y'all put me today. And I'm super grateful you put me there because it just opened up, Rhonda. Come on, knucklehead. So there you go. How about that?
A year later, open up.
So there's a little bit of scar tissue there to want to open up. That's the next level of sit through is why deal with the scar tissue? See, in the body, when you have a surgery or some sort of intervention in the body creates scar tissue around that opening, that intervention, and it's the body's way of putting a layer of protection so you can't have that area again. The scar tissue also prohibits you from full range of motion in certain joints, or it severs the nerve endings and kind of splits the nerve endings. And like when you have a knee surgery, you can scratch the inside of your knee and you feel it on the outside underneath your knee. And you're like, what the heck? How'd that happen? Scar tissue will dilute these things and it'll make things different than the way they were, but they look the same. Just a little bit of scar on the outside. We have no idea the scar tissue underneath. And in physical therapy, we're taught to, if like the scar on my knee where I had massive knee surgery 3 times, you're taught to sit there and rub as hard as you can on that scar to break up the scar tissue. It hurts to rub the scar tissue. It hurts. But if you don't rub the scar tissue, you get that scar tissue buildup and then everything's lack of range of motion, your nerves don't heal right, all this other stuff. But if you will sit under the pain of rubbing that scar tissue and just massaging that scar tissue away, it will break up and dissipate and the body will remove it. So what is it that we need to rub to break up the scar tissue? So yes, it's taken me a year later to rub the scar enough to break up the scar tissue to where I can fully expose my vulnerability in pieces, because there's still scar tissue there in pieces. But the thought of it is now, it doesn't hurt as bad to rub that scar tissue. Still uncomfortable, but the payoff is worth it because I see the full range of motion.
So, and I'll leave you with this.
Uh-oh.
It's easy for all of you. It's easy to say to somebody like a Rhonda, like each of you, you should just open up because you see it. Are you willing to sit and watch for a year as they work through it? That's a gift that I've been given. I'm very patient.
Is that a gift? Was that a gift?
We all have our crosses to bear. But are you willing to sit and watch the unfolding? How long will you sit to watch the perfect lotus flower express itself? How long will you wait for a dream to blossom? Until. And that's what I'm going to encourage you as you sit through your becoming mentors, as you sit being mentees. How long? As long as it takes. The principle of Kaizen, 0.1% improvement. So there you go, folks. This other crew is screaming at me. Yes, I will be there. I sent them a message. I appreciate y'all. I love you tons. Thank you for having the patience, the courage, and the tenacity to live through your life and to live through these moments. I'm Sean Murphy, your humble misfit. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all still, oh, wait a minute. I didn't hear everybody, so let me unmute everybody.
Yeah, you gotta
Hold
unmute.
on.
I love y'all.
Ask to unmute all. There you go. I'll
At
see
the
y'all
next
where?
event.
At the
Love
next
you guys
event.
so much.
See you guys. I love you guys.
Love y'all.
See you
Love you.
tomorrow.
Have an amazing
Bye
day.
for now.
Thank you. You
Bye,
guys are
bye.
amazing.
Everyone.
Beautiful.
Bye, y'all. Love y'all.
Love y'all.
Bye.
Have a great day.